if your Mac has an Intel chip inside, then it has just become obsolete. Yes, Apple just dropped support for Intel Macs on macOS 27, Golden Gate. So what does that mean for your old Intel Mac? Should you upgrade for a new MacBook with Apple Silicon, and which one should you choose? In this video, I will guide you through all of that, so if you guys are excited, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about Macs, shall we? Before I talk about what happens to your old Intel Mac and what does actually mean, I want to talk about first what are the best features coming to macOS 27. 1. Siri is finally good. It's rebuilt on Google Gemini, it lives right inside Spotlight, and it's actually a chatbot now. Ask follow-ups, pull a PDF from your email, drop it straight into Numbers, it can read what's on your screen and take action for you. 2. Photos, get AI editing, extend build image outside the original frame, and reframe changes the camera angle after you already taken the shot. 3. Safari, Messages, Mail, and Calendar all get smarter, plus visual intelligence that understands anything on your screen. 4. Liquid Glass stays, but Apple refines it so it's actually readable this time. And 5. The big one, macOS 27 is Apple Silicon only. Every Intel Mac is officially dead. Apple Intelligence is getting much better, and with it, all of Apple's software are getting their updates. So if you want new AI features, if you want all of the new Siri AI, and if you especially want all of the new features coming from macOS 27 that Apple talked about in the keynote to iOS 27, to iPadOS 27, your Intel Mac won't have that. But there are bigger concerns than all of these new AI features, because right now I know already that you are watching this video and thinking, well, who cares about AI features? I will still keep using my Mac. The thing is, Apple also removed the translation layer found on macOS, so you can use x86 apps, Intel chip apps, on macOS. This means that developers will actually start dropping support for these Macs and actually not update them in the near future. This means that all of your versions of apps will become obsolete. So, in reality, your Mac will become obsolete much faster than you think, and is actually more serious than you think. It's not just about not having Apple Intelligence, not having AI features. No, it's actually about having support, security updates, and much more importantly, new software, or at least your software that you need available on your Mac. If you love editing on Adobe Premiere Pro, on Final Cut Pro, those versions won't be available, new versions won't be available on your Intel Mac. And so at the end of the day, I think your Mac, your Intel Mac will keep running, but it will be very constrained. In the next 2-3 years, it will be phased out. So I think now is the perfect time to start to look for a new Mac. You have tons of options on the Apple Silicon world, and you don't need to spend that much money. Trust me guys, you can spend like $500 and still get an amazing Mac for you. So let's talk about which Mac should you buy. Whenever you look at Apple's Mac lineup, there are two options: desktop computers and laptops. And if you are watching this video, you are probably having a laptop, because most people do. So if you look at Apple's laptop lineup, the MacBook lineup, you have three options. You have the MacBook Neo, MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro. And if you are looking to buy a computer, well, I would say that if you currently have an Intel Mac, you are probably sitting in one of these two categories. You have an old Mac that you simply use for your everyday job. You just use it to study, to browse the web, and for everyday task. In that case, I do believe that the MacBook Neo is the perfect option and the best computer you can buy for only like $600. It's amazing, gets you all the new Apple Silicon features. While in the second category, you are that person that loves to edit photos and videos, but you are not a professional. You don't think that you need that much power. And your old Intel Mac still served you well with Adobe Photoshop. So you are looking to buy a new computer. Which one should you get? Well, here is more tough, because the MacBook Neo, even though it's a great computer for the everyday job, for the everyday Joe, if you want to edit photos, videos, and you need a bit more precision, a bit better color accuracy on your display, the MacBook Neo is not an option, because the MacBook Neo does have a 13-inch display, an LCD display, but it's not P3 color gamut. So the accuracy of that display is not good enough, in my opinion, to edit photos. I've used the MacBook Neo for 1 month, and I still think that display is amazing. But for color accuracy, I wouldn't trust that display. So I would go for either of these two models, the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro. And you have two options, actually three. The MacBook Air starts at $1,100 with $1,000 on education discount, and the MacBook Pro at $1,600, $1,500 with education discount. The thing is, the MacBook Air has two sizes, the 13-inch and the 15-inch size. While the MacBook Pro starts at $600, it only has one size, and that's the 14-inch version. So you actually have three sizes between the two models. 13-inch, 14-inch, 15-inch. The 14-inch is the perfect sweet spot. It's the best size in my opinion because it's big enough to be very comfortable to the eye, but is also small enough to be very, very portable. While the MacBook Air 15-inch is very portable and lightweight, but it's big. So if you don't want that big laptop on your backpack, well, go for either the 13-inch or 14-inch. The differences between these two are the display. The MacBook Pro's bezels are much smaller than the MacBook Air's, and the MacBook Air's display is LCD, while the MacBook Pro's is Mini LED. MacBook Pro has 120 Hz, MacBook Air has 60 Hz. Also, the MacBook Air has less I/O, with only 2 USB-C ports, while the MacBook Pro has 3 USB-C ports, 1 HDMI port, and for those photographers and videographers watching this, very important, an SD card slot. For you, probably the MacBook Pro is the best option, just for that. If you are moving around a lot, if you are moving between shoots, outside, and if you want a really portable computer to hold in your hand, in that case, I'll go for the MacBook Air. It's much lighter and thinner specifically, but the rest, the MacBook Pro will be much, much better. Again, the Mini LED display is more accurate with 120 Hz and definitely brighter. So choose which one fits you better. As for the performance, both feature the same M5 chip. The thing is, the MacBook Pro has the M5 with a fan, and the MacBook Air has the M5 without a fan. And this is pretty much the same performance until you reach the point of thermally throttling. Whenever the machine starts to thermally throttle with high temperatures, then the MacBook Air does not have a fan to cool itself down, while the MacBook Pro does. This means that your MacBook Pro will still be fine, working fine, turn on the fan, while the MacBook Air will start to decrease performance to start to cool down. And this is probably the biggest difference between the M5 MacBook Air and M5 MacBook Pro. So you need to choose. Do you want portability? Do you want form factor? Or do you actually need power? And between these two, the M5 MacBook Pro is actually the most powerful one. Obviously, if you do really need performance, if you do really need power, go for the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. But those computers, in my opinion, are too overkill for you watching this video. If you are still using an Intel Mac, you probably haven't bought any of the new Apple Silicon Macs. And you are not a professional. Because if you were, you would have bought them already, years ago. So probably, I'm guessing, you are just a normal user that likes to take photos and videos and edit some photos and videos, and your old Intel Mac is just fine for that with Adobe Photoshop. But trust me guys, this is a big improvement with this Apple Silicon. You will love them. So by now, you should already know which computer should you buy: MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, MacBook Neo, and you also know what will happen to your old Intel Mac. The question is, should you upgrade? The thing is, I don't think that people really understand what will happen in the next few years with Apple Intelligence and AI specifically. This will change the world. This will change the job market. AI is too big now to stop. And I think that people still using Intel Macs might not be affected by the next year or so, but in the next couple of years, AI will be so relevant, AI will be so powerful, AI will be so present in our everyday lives that I think you'll have no choice but to upgrade. And yeah, that's just how technology works. New tech comes out, you need to buy new products to keep up with evolution. Intel Macs have been phased out for 6 years now, so it's a very, very long time that Apple has supported an older technology, an obsolete technology in their lineup. And now I think it's time to go. Requirements now for macOS 27 is Apple Silicon M1 and upwards. If you have any of these computers, you're fine, and it will be probably fine in the next couple of years. But if you have an Intel Mac again, watch the whole video from the beginning to see what happens, but it's time to go. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Do you still have an Intel Mac? Let me know below all of that. See you next time. Bye-bye.